Good afternoon, friends. Welcome back to ESIC. This is the sixth time we begin this initiative. So I'm particularly pleased to see that the interest is not decreasing. My name is Massimo Zotea. I'm a member of the group, leading group of the UNESCO chair in Ingegneria for Human and Sustainable Development. It's quite a tradition because it's the sixth edition of this web series. It's extracurricular initiative, but well structured. This year we have a community of organizers particularly well furnished. For instance, I have here the pleasure to introduce your travel mates, Anissa, Susanna, and Ada Castellucci. And after 3 hours of lecture, I'm quite tired. And also, we introduced the wall series. So my task is to present the framework. And then in the second stage, Ada will explain the technical aspects, especially for students that subscribe in order to get the credits. This year, we offer 6 steps, different with a multidisciplinary approach. We will speak about environmental sustainability and international cooperation declined under different perspectives. For instance, this evening we will speak about the concept of sustainable development, how is declined all around the world, how is conceived, sometimes misleaded and occasion for conflicts in the interpretation, especially in Latin America, is even my direct experience. But we have here two speakers who are equipped in helping us reflect on this point. The main characteristics of this series is to offer opportunity to dialogue among all the participants. So feel free to intervene. You are not only audience, you are a member, active member of this dialogue. And at the same time, we have connected the people online to offer the opportunity to get involved, even though they are not here into our room. And very briefly, I remember the 6 titles just to give you an overview, and then I will give the floor to Ada. The second appointment will be on 19th March on sustainable urban design with Earth. So a more technical approach. The third one, just a week before, keep in mind, because usually the pace is every 2 weeks, but due to calendar constraints, we were obliged to make it then close. Critical mapping another time, because it's very interesting. And my students will remember that we treated this topic. Landscape on human rights, 26 March. On 16 April, we will treat the Amazonian socio-ecological freshwater system with 2 other speakers. And in this case, even with former students that is about to graduate. So the typical approach of this webinars is to combine experts with our former students in order to offer also the opportunity to understand better what are the development of the course in the master in environmental engineering with the curriculum ESIC in environmental sustainability and international cooperation. On 23rd of April, we will treat planning from transformative change with nature-based solutions. This is another topic well treated by all the members of the UNESCO chair, but especially the group that last year we had, you remember probably, very interesting insights on this topic. And finally, we will close on 14th May with the climate change and water governance experiences from 2 countries of Latin America, Bolivia and Brazil. Nothing more, not to steal space to you, and Ada, you have the floor for technical issues.
Good morning to everybody here in the family line. Thank you so much for being here again for the first seminar of our series. And just some technical issues for students especially, and for everyone who needs the certificate. We set the minimum number of seminars to be enrolled and to be in present or online. They are 5 out of 6 to reach the minimum number for the recognition of the credit. And before the recognition of the credit, there is also a very small exam. Let's say that it's a 5-minute presentation to link 2 different topics that we will see during this semester. The exam is on your own, no groups. Everyone will do his own or her own presentation. Then we will charge, we will put all the materials in Moodle, so you can find everything there, all the presentations, and also the lessons, the seminars are registered. So if you need something extra, everything will be online. Everyone who needs the recognition of the credits, please, there is the paper and the entrance to be signed. And that's it. So finally, let's arrive to the last part. Today we have this kind of particular topic, and we are talking together with 2 particular economists. And it can be strange because normally we try to link a lot with environmental engineer teams, and maybe it could seems to be a bit out of the blue, but no, because actually what they will explain is really linked to our everyday experience as engineers. Especially, I really wanted them to be here today because during my research, I'm concluding now a PhD on waste management. And during my experience, both as in the cooperation, international cooperation field, and as a young researcher, I saw 2 different important aspects linked to what they will tell us today. First, in the international cooperation field, while I was working in Mozambique, we used to talk a lot with other people working there, especially Italians. Of course, you're abroad and you become friends with them. And we were discussing a lot during our evening if what we were doing there was really important for the context of, or if it was important for us. So this double experience of, yes, we are bringing there the technology, or is it really filling a gap? And the second, as a researcher, in particular, I noticed that the instruments that I am using, for example, a software to do research and to elaborate data, in particular for life cycle assessment methodologies, all the data I found there are oriented from the point of view of the high-income countries. So also the analysis that we are doing maybe are not completely correct to be related to the context that we are analyzing. For example, my another case study was in Mongolia, and the data I used were linked to the rest of the world and not the site-specific for Mongolia. While for high-income context, you can find many other data. So I will introduce first of all Professor
Ramirez.
Ramirez, sorry. Professor Ramirez from the University of Cartagena in Colombia. And thank you so much for being here.
Grazie. We have to change. Yes.
Sorry, technical issues. Can you see from home the presentation? Perfect.
Ciao a tutti. Prima devo dire che mi piace moltissimo stare qua. E prima devo dire grazie Ada per l'invitazione, grazie agli organizzatori. Now I change for English because sono imparando l'italiano, no, ma it's not enough. Okay, thank you everyone for being here. The name of this presentation that I want to be like a speech, a dialogue that like the professor has said some time before. And the title of the presentation is how do we normalize a colonial order and how we change it. I am a professor in University of Cartagena, in Cartagena, Indias, Colombia. And I just finished my PhD in law, economics, and social science in Burgos, in Spain. For make this presentation, in my kind of places for discuss this kind of things, we usually put like a more sophisticated kind of conversation. But here, because I am not here with my research group and so on, I like more like narrate what happens in my country, what happened in the geographical context, and the kind of disputes or struggles that follow, speak about colonizing and how we decolonize the social order. So more than put here like theories or like very complex ideas, I want to speak about specific moments now and specific moments on the past that create this necessity to speak about colonization and the colonization process. Right now, it's important to question how do we read the current times, because only for regarding the picture on the screen is Donald Trump behind the steps of Roosevelt. Remember that 100 years before, the Roosevelt president, during this government, they took Panama. That was the words in that moment. I took Panama is a popular phrase of President Roosevelt when they arrived to Panama and get the control of Panama Canal. For people that is necessary to locate in the roadmap, Panama is right here. This is Colombia. And 1 year, so 150 years before, Panama was part of Colombia country. And USA thinking in the strategic position of Panama for market issues, try to control or get control the Panama Canal. In that moment, USA tried to negotiate with Colombia elite to get the control. And Colombia elite in that moment say, no, it's not a good deal for us. So wait, what happened? And they say, we don't want to wait, nothing. And they prefer to mobilize the independence of the country to negotiate then with the local elites of Panama. In fact, that was the history. Panama get independence, and then USA negotiate the control of the Panama Canal. The control of the canal was for 100 years. After this, the control returned to Panama country. So now, or recently, Donald Trump has said, we want to return to control the Panama Canal. Then the history repeats the same patterns of colonial powers since the North countries and imperial countries to the South countries. And what happened here, that for a lot of people, this kind of initiatives, this kind of practice, we can name development. You know, and this is the complex. This category is so complex because behind the name development, there is strategies to put the interests of a country over or on the shoulders of another country. So, in my case, and for the kind of people that I read or the kind of people that I work, we prefer to see that this kind of development is more expression of a dependency relationship. And from the side of development, these people say the control of, for example, USA over Panama or Colombia is nice because promote capital flows and incentive the value creation of society. And for the side for us, for example, my perspective, say, okay, and this kind of capital flows and creation of value is for who and for what we need to create that. Because in that part of, in this part of the country, we are seeing, we are seeing how the development is only a process who benefits a minority of populations, while at the same time, there are a lot of people who maintain an exclusion to enjoy this kind of benefits. This stream of research, this stream of knowledge is not recent, has a long time tradition. I mean, during the last 200 years, there were a lot of people who questions these kind of things, and question with this focus what happened with benefits, who enjoy the benefits, and what happened with the large of people who cannot to enjoy the benefits. These questions arise a perspective that the name is geopolitics of knowledge, and start a reflection, for example, over the theology of liberations or philosophy of liberations. I mean, it's a big stream of research, it's a big stream of knowledge that we can consulting, and depends of the focus that you want. You have a lot of different ways to understand what happened by the lens of the colonial lens. This is one of one example about what happened in the independence of my country, Colombia, then the independence. And consider that around 1950, in my country, for be considered citizen, you have to be a man, you have to be literacy, you have to have properties, you have to pay taxes. I mean, in the national constitutions, for be considered citizen, you have to get this kind of features. And what happened in that time? Only the 3 or 2% of the whole population could reach this kind of features. So the 99% or 98% of the whole population didn't get this kind of features. These situations apply for white people, and in the side of indigenous or black populations is the worst side, because they were not considered as citizens and were not considered as humans. So in the second dimension of the problem is the poor. I mean, the people who, for example, women, white women, or for example, people who not be literacy. I mean, the second dimension of exclusion. But in the third dimension of exclusion is this kind of people that were considered as animal, as the indigenous of black populations. So for this kind of stream of research, it's important to realize that dependency relations create not only economic dependency, is also about a topic of, yes, it's a topic about ethical concern. I mean, about how we can organize our societies without race, gender, and class discrimination. This kind of dependence, this kind of reading about dependency relationship is a bigger topic that necessarily we have to engage with other disciplines to understand what happened in a deeper way to read the times. For this reason, we are claiming liberation not only now, it's a claiming that is present during the colony administration of the countries, and then the independence of the country. I mean, the claiming of liberation in our country is a permanent claiming that present the liberation of the independence of the country was only a custom, like a mask for only change the administration of the bureaucracy stuff. For this reason, we always say, speaking about liberation, emancipation is not enough. we have to make a real transformation because the picture is the same. I mean, in the colony times, was usually to find this kind of plantation of sugarcane. And now we have the same picture with the same precarious conditions. So nothing is changed. A second example of my country for this kind of stuff is regarding about the question of what is the kind of dependency that we have. Because it's real that after the independence, we like break down an external dependency. So we say, what is the nature of the dependency that we have? With this kind of people, in the right side is Miguel Samper, and in the left side is Camacho Roldán. There were politicians and really like public figures in the country. We understand with this kind of people that the nature of the dependency was an historical dependency regarding the rationality for make a nation with exclusionary frontiers or exclusionary barriers. For example, make a developed country for a minority number of people. So why I, for example, present this kind of people? Because they change the the version of modernization in the country from the Spain way to change to the British and German kind of development. So they were like liberal thinkers in the economic model and tried to change, but they only changed the origin of the discourse with the same pattern of power. I mean, the same pattern of power is for what and for whom is the benefits of the modern nation, the benefits of development. Also in our, for example, in this kind of discussion, it's important to question how do we normalize things that are not normal, no? Because we are saying that now in our country and in the planet in general, we have a colonial pattern of power, but we normalize that. Is normal? Not is normal, but exceeds a kind of rationality that present us this reality as a normal, no? And we, the hegemonic narrative, try to present this like a normalization of the reality because it's more easy think the solutions. When we simplify reality, we also can simplify the solution of the reality. I mean, we manage the surface of the world. And in this case, this is a really like, I don't know, I feel, ¿cómo se, vergüenza? Shame. I feel shame of this picture because we say in Colombia, dar papaya. Dar papaya is give papaya, give fruit. And it's an expression to say, be careful and don't give the opportunity to someone to take advantage of you. Yes, it's that papaya. Behind this phrase, there is a insecurity society because the advice is no des papaya. Trying to present you that the problem is you because you are not care about your things, but the problem is not the problem that. I mean, the problem is the violence, the problem is the disequal distribution of power, the disequal distribution of wealth. And we simplify the reality to create simplified solutions, or we normalize the simple solution for a real complex reality. No? So with this example, we can see this how for the discourse is useful to simplify reality, because creates easy response to the complex problems. So for this dualism between development and underdevelopment countries, the solution is easy. You have to become developed country. No? And how we can develop our society? Easy. Learn how to be efficient and learn how to be effectiveness. No? So the pattern here is try to present the complex society as a problem of management issue, as a problem of organizational staff, as a problem that you can manage in a simple way. And here is really important the disciplines that we do as engineering, as accountant, as a manager, as I don't know, official of marketing, of whatever. Because the disciplines as accounting, for example, is part of a real big package of solutions to be developed. In the case of accounting, is really the solution is really easy. It's like if you can design complex models of make a disclosure of your information, you could become developed. I mean, because the companies could take advantage of the information to taking better decisions. This is the rationality. Is real? Not. It's only a simple way to try to manage a complex society. In my case, for example, I have researched this kind of topic, especially in accounting. Question about what happened with the disclosure of sugarcane companies in my region is the Valle geographical of Cauca River, is around the south or center of my country. Because in the regions, the photo is like this. It's a big space of green sugarcane, like a landscape. In the reports of this company, the people could say, Colombian people design complex system of accounting, take advantage of their information, then they become a developed country. It's okay. In this research, I go deeper in the context, and especially in the scenario of work plantations, and trying to say how accounting represents the precarious conditions of worker plantations and what happened behind this kind of representations. So in my case, I try to get light about how accounting is an instrument to simplify reality and simplify solutions. If we see the whole picture is like this. I mean, is the sugarcane surrounding people? Is the sugarcane surrounding like a person who have like a really bad conditions, precarious conditions, and not only people. I mean, the sugar cane, as you can see in the photo, this is a movie. It's a documentary movie. The sugar cane is burned, and it's burned for two topics. The first one facilitates the cut, and then make good conditions for the industrial process. But the burn of the sugar cane is, it's really bad. Okay. With my work, I try to respond, for example, what roles plays our profession of knowledge with the hegemonic discourse in this play to minimize, or in this context of reducing, simplifying the complex reality, and try to create simplified solution also. I question this idea myself every day, and it's a question that I share with the auditorium for questioning our work. How we can go beyond this normalization of reality? For me and for this stream of research, we need to open our file, because it's a colonial process also. Try to think that only in my file I have the solutions for deal with the complex society. So in the photo, there is the frontier between Tijuana and San Diego, and our knowledge work in that way as a frontiers, trying to thinking that my knowledge is this one, and I have no, and I know I don't need to go to another discipline to try to complex the reality that I say. See, sorry. And I am not only speaking about knowledge. I'm speaking about also connecting with the reality. For example, in the photo there is a person in the Momposina region in Colombia, is on the north, who this is a community that connect the emotions and the ideas, the rationality, and create like a sentipensamiento, is like a emotional and rationality insieme together. And the invitation is try to connect knowledge, but also communities with different kind of perceptions, cosmovision about the world. There is a short little video about how in the past maybe the people know about this and we not learn. Yes, we invisibilize this kind of idea, this kind of organized society, and now we really need this kind of thinking ideas.
Hace más de 2000 años, una civilización indígena ubicada en la depresión Momposina, zona norte del Caribe colombiano, construyó un complejo de canales para el manejo del agua distribuidos en 500.000 hectáreas que se extienden entre los ríos San Jorge, el río Sinú, el río Cauca y el gran río Magdalena. Dicho sistema cumplió una triple función que les permitía regular el flujo del agua ante las inundaciones, proteger las viviendas y aprovechar las tierras fértiles para generar productividad agrícola. A pesar que las crónicas de los españoles los inmortalizaron en la historia por su abundancia de oro, especialmente representada en su orfebrería, no se dieron cuenta que su verdadera riqueza reposaba en el complejo de construcciones y canales artificiales con los que les fue posible superar épocas de sequía y cambios de clima. Su gran ingenio con el agua les permitió convertir su territorio en una envidiable despensa agrícola. En tiempos antiguos, el territorio zenú lo habitaban cerca de 160 personas por kilómetro cuadrado en medio de una importante abundancia. A partir del siglo XVI, el territorio zenú empieza a ser desocupado. La presión del mundo exterior hace que los pobladores deban salir, y con ellos la gran riqueza del conocimiento sobre la ingeniería de sus canales y el aprovechamiento del agua. A pesar que la cultura zenú es motivo de orgullo en Colombia, incluso se destaca su obra en el billete de 20.000 pesos colombianos, no ha sido efectiva la recuperación de sus canales y por lo tanto las condiciones locales en la actualidad no son las mejores. Con la importancia de este ecosistema, la Cátedra UNESCO de Sostenibilidad de la Universidad Politécnica de Cataluña busca establecer
Now, the photo right now of the region is like this. There is nothing. I mean, this channels was like 6,000 years before, but now we have the we can remember how the region was designed for manage the nature, but not for control nature, for get like an interconnection with nature, trying to understand the move of the river, the side of the river, also the needs of spend, no? Because the river is also a leaf. I mean, it's like us. And for this kind of communities, the river is a god. So if we cannot manage, we cannot control a god. We only have to listen what wants. It's a problem, this one, because recently was building a river dam. The communities, the indigenous communities say this is a bad idea because this idea, we cannot manage, we cannot control the river. And recently, like one month before, there is a flood in the city, in the region, for this kind of reasons. And it's like this.
Two people have died and tens of thousands of families have been displaced as heavy floods devastated northern Colombia over the last few weeks. Local authorities estimate that 80% of Cordoba has flooded, causing millions of dollars worth of damage to agriculture and livestock production. Cordoba has seen record levels of rainfall, which is unusual as February is typically the region's driest month. As further rainfall is expected, authorities say they're continuing to deliver tons of aid.
Indigenous people know what happened in the future. They reclaim a place for the river, and they reclaim a place for live together with nature. And we, the society, don't listen the advertising. So this is also an opportunity to memorize, to highlight the role of this kind of communities, and especially the role of Kimi Pernia Domico, that was an indigenous leader who make like a warning about these kind of things, and he disappeared in the beginning of the 2021 century. And then we know that was killed for paramilitary groups, these illegal groups, army groups in the country. So it's an opportunity to also highlight the thinking of the indigenous communities, and especially the thinking of Kimi Pernia. Thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. After this introduction, Maybe I will just ask you quickly something to define a bit, especially for environmental engineering student, what is accounting? Because, for example, me, before the beginning of the PhD, I really didn't know what accounting was because our Italian translation is a contabilità, that is something really different from what they're doing. So, thanks.
Okay,
So now
okay.
we can change also the presentation.
No, I mean for we say the mainstream the mainstream of work about accounting is the technical issue where you could communicate what happened with your organization to the society, and the stream the yeah the stream the mainstream of research say that you need to communicate these impacts with financial focus. I mean, you have to communicate how and why, how and why the value of the organization are created. It's a financial focus and it's a focus for shareholders only, no more. And for me and for people, I mean, a little portion of people, I like to connect accounting with social and historical roots. I mean, like try to understand that accounting is also a way to represent what happened with the organization with the whole picture. I mean, regarding the whole picture, not only focusing shareholder interests, also focus on the impacts on the nature, also the impacts of society. For example, this river dam, the name is Urra, it's a company, and have a role in these floods in the region. So accounting have to reveal, have to represent, have to communicate the role and the responsibilization of the company with society. Yes, not only the financial stuff.
Thank you so much. I leave the floor to Alessandra Niccolis. She just graduated in the PhD in sustainability. Thank you.
Hi, to everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm today. We're addressed not of the PhD, but of the co-founder of this little organization in the south of Italy. That is called Gramigna per le Donne, and is settled in Noci, in the province of Bari. Actually, it was a different south, but I will say it is still south. I will show you a little bit how we are trying to develop the colonial development of my village. When we started with this project, it was 2020, we started as a collective. We were like a group of mainly women, but also men. We started from the ecofeminism thought. I don't know if you ever listen about ecofeminism, but is a philosophical a way of rethink our society in a way that rejects any form of domination. So the domination of a male over female, women being over nature, white people over black people. So we started to rethink a new society that avoid to reproduce domination. And we started to do it in a project even to women empowerment. I don't like to use the term empowerment, but I feel the necessity to use this term in order to simplify what we do. Because as they were say, of course, it's not only empowerment. It was like a social order that relegate women in a lower position. But to simplify, I will use the term empowerment. I will briefly show you which are the activity that we do in our project. So we collaborate with the Anti-Violence Center because actually I don't know if you are if you know well the topic of gender violence, but how the gender violence is treated in Italy. I will speak for Italy. Is that works on emergency. So the government provide money in the moment in which the women already suffered are affected by violence. So government don't provide money for education to gender violence and gender issues, and do not provide also money for what happened after the violence. So after that woman already had violence and already went to anti-violence center. Therefore, all these services are not provided and financed by the government. So we wanted to fill this gap of the institution. And therefore, we activate a social garden in order to make these women reactivate social ties into the society, even that after that a woman has been abused for a long time. They didn't have also a social social relationship. They don't have a house. They don't have a work. So we started to reactivate, to create a space to reactivate this relationship. We also try to provide them skills and jobs because, of course, they don't have a job, but they neither have a skill. And so we try to provide them with these skills and job. And also we do activity of sensibilization in the school with the scout, for example, or in the community organizing event for the community. And I'm going to explain you why and how we are trying to approach in the community development and especially to women empowerment in a decolonial way. Firstly, concerning who we are, how we do research and how we work with the woman and with the rest of the community, and now how we treat the herd. So first of all, regarding who we are, of course, an heterogeneous group of people composed of people of different gender, age, but also different background, because there are I am a PhD, but there are also farmers, there are also waitresses and normal people of the community. And there are women and men, so it's not just because we have a feminist thought, it doesn't mean that men cannot be part of this group. But most of us is from Noci, so actually was not, but there is also German, there is also some people from Trieste. They just moved to my village, but I mean we are a lot of us are from Noci. And we just shared the idea to create a new we had all a connection with this land, and we wanted to create a different society and develop our community because it is a village located in a rural area far from the city, depopulating. Therefore, we wanted to start a development, but without reproduce the same scheme of development that we used to develop. And an important thing that we didn't want to impose an hegemonic form of knowledge. Therefore, there is not because we there is a group of us that is well educated and got a PhD or got two degree or 3 masters, decide how to develop the community and which project to implement. But we try to share our knowledge, so learn from each other. Therefore, for example, I can explain you to them how to do an Excel, but they will teach me how to plant the seeds in the garden, because I don't know nothing about agroecology or or how to create a garden. And mainly, we focus on the concept of self-determination. So we try also to not impose who have to do what, but just make the people decide what they want from themselves. So how we do research, and so how we apply also research in our community is through participatory action research. So we actually engage the woman or the community through starting from the marginalities. So we started from the countryside, from people that are usually marginalized in this process of yes, the project development. And so, for example, we organize the activity of theater, but also still in the social garden, we do some share a snack to speak a little bit about which are our desire, our interest, our emotion, and how we can try to understand what the woman's needs. Just to make you understand that we didn't define ex ante, which is the project or which is the main which are our main activity. We just build them with the community and step by step. And just I want to show, for example, the way in which we we engage with the community. Through different forms of engagement, as for example, artivism. So, for example, this picture in which we got found to create a murale. With this murale was built with the community, so also with the children that are in the schools. And it could look like just simply a murale, but is also a way of doing of empowering, because in our normal in our cities, there is always the prevalence of man figure also in arts in the urban setting or rural setting. Usually we find men iconography. Therefore, we inserted this art in which the women are at the center, and also they have some values as taking care, like the old woman that take care, or the young one, that the concept of caring. This is central, in woman with behaviors. Therefore, we try to leave this impact in our village. And also the way in which, and I wanted to also, given that we are in a seminar of engineering, showing how also in the developing of the project, we replace the concept of artificial intelligence that is always yes, also when I used to work in a European project, the concept of technology and innovation through technology was central. So we have to develop it. Okay, let's do it by technology, as is the only way to find the solution. Instead, we use more the concept of natural intelligence. So, for example, in the production of tomato, we use a particular kind of tomato that is called a Mauro Rosso. It is a tomato that doesn't need to the seeds are regenerate themselves without the necessity to buy new seeds in the next here, because like the way in which the production, the normal tomato production, force the agriculture, the farmers to go to buy new seeds to start a new production. Instead, using this particular kind of tomato that is just a different typology of tomato, we just use the concept of natural intelligence, so just a sort of regeneration from the same seeds of before. And like this, also other we apply the concept of natural intelligence in order the path of the developing of the garden. For example, of the method we use in the agriculture, as for example permaculture or agroforesting or mulching, that in Italy is pacciamatura. That is, it is this way of putting like herbs in the ground. It's so really like we try to follow the rhythm of the nature without introducing toxic toxic materials into the nature. And I wanted in this slide, I also wanted to report some way in which we found our activities. And that's the reason why we are also here, because actually like part of the fund derived from international funds, so European, in particular European project, Solidarity European Project Fund. And also we are trying to apply to an Interreg Grace Italy, that is a intra-country cooperation fund. And I would like also to stress how in these cases we write the project. So it's not a company from outside or is that ourselves decide what to insert in the project. That of course is like also then I will go later on to speak about colonize or decolonize, because to apply to this fund you have to know English really well. You have to know how to structure a project, and a person that is not doesn't know English and doesn't have at least a master is not capable to write a project like this of international cooperation. That's for me a big limit of this word international cooperation, but for an elite that is able to write project. Therefore, that's why we also get money from feminist funds, because these feminist funds understand also the limits of apply to this project and so on, and all the bureaucratic limits that has the European projection and all these cooperation of funds, and they super oversimplify the process, and also the monitoring is really simple. They just ask us, what are you doing? Show me some picture. I trust you. I mean, I trust you that you're doing well. I mean, without all the bureaucratic link to me that I work in a European project, moving to this feminist fund was like a paradise, because all these more bureaucratic and really stressful stuff is avoided. And so we also find our activity with crowdfunding, so selling tomato sauce. If you wonder where there are some tomato sauce marketing, advertising. We will send in next month here, or even or donation in general. So just to link a little bit with what is accounting, just to give you also an idea what is accounting for me is accounting itself is providing numbers to explain something. So in this context, usually in the, for example, European projection, accounting is how many people are participating in your event, and all like providing number to all this social stuff you did. But they impose to you which kind of accounting you have to do. So in this case, our accounting started from the really bottom, just to the necessity to like make the people understand what we do, because you work with gender issue and what is this, or gender violence, anti-violence center, but they didn't realize the same community of Noci of my village didn't realize what we were doing, because we are in the countryside. So like there was a problem of communication also with the same community. So we needed to create this report and this number to make the people understand what we do. So we do 20. We organize 25 encounter in the garden. We realized to training session just to provide information and make visible what we do. And we also publish it in our Instagram page in order to communicate with the people. So it's another way to do accounting that is not just to provide information that other people ask us, but just something that we created for a real necessity, contextualized the necessity. But I wanted to also underline some a problem related to this project. First of all, that after 5 years, still 6 years, we don't have money to do this activity. So this project could be amazing. Really anti-decolonial, local development, impulsed from the bottom, but we are not able to pay ourselves from the project, so we do it in our free time as a volunteer, and this a really big critical to voluntarism, because at the end voluntarism tends to be another work, and that cover this gap that institution leave as, for example, in theme of gender issues. And for me, okay, I love voluntarism. I was always a volunteer in different organizations, but voluntarism do not have to replace a gap that institution has. And so we still, after 5 years, a lot of work and effort that we put in our project, and I will say that also in this 5 year, we grow as a people. I got a PhD. There are other people that get another 3 other master and everything, but we still don't have money to pay ourselves and to pay the woman also in a constant, especially when we do job, we try to provide job to this woman. We are not able to provide stable work. So that is something that personally I suffer a lot. And a lot of compromises also, because we try to don't do impact washing, greenwashing, pink washing, and we try to be so free from this dynamic, but at the end, we also ends to deal with what the donors want, with what the institution wants. For example, in the case of the murale, there was this red flag that the artist did in the in the background of the murale, and just the artist that did this red flag for us was flag, but the municipality gave a meaning, a political meaning to this flag. So we need to argue for 3 months regarding this flag. At the end, we change the color of the flag. Doesn't matter. But I mean, we need to find a compromise for a really. I think that given that in our constitution there is also anti-fascism, will be also normal to insert a red flag. just to let you understand what it means to develop like a project from the bottom. And then the concept of, we also as ADA always reflect is we are colonizing, we are more well educated, we are colonizing the others, so we like the same feeling. And I would like just to tell you some stories that like we encounter in our project, because what we do is that the vegetables that we collect in the garden, we provide the vegetables for free and to like provide healthy food for the woman of the anti-violence center. And so we collected all these vegetables to giving them to this woman. But like all these women mainly weren't Italian, so they weren't able to cook our vegetables. Therefore, they trash our food, the vegetables that we provide to them. So even if we were super decolonizing, we try to include, engage, and everything, at the end we totally mismatch with the needs of this woman. So therefore, just to like also when we try to do the best things and that can be, and we can accept we have to learn from this process and from this also like a mistake that we did, because it's also our like philosophy, recognizing and start from the limitation that all of us have. And then who decide? Because at the end, like we try also to involve like a more general public, not well educated, to take this decision and take part to the decision process. But at the end, it's true that, for example, a beneficiary of a project of the social grant, so like it now is part of the like more decision group, like the group that take this decision. But it's true that a lot of other beneficiaries do not participate, also because they are not a way of interested. I mean, we live in a society that that is an habit that other people will do stuff for ourselves. We are not remember in English now. It's an habit for us that other people take the decision for ourselves. We are not acostumbrado to self decide what we want and what we want to do. So also regarding the question of who decide, at the end, who decide, we are a little group of us that in some way I will never say that I am the boss of this organization, because I was also in a way a victim of violence in the past, given that the violence is not just abuse or harassment, but it's just also verbal abuse that we as a woman suffer. Therefore, in this project, I will say that I am both the beneficiaries and the who takes the decision. So, well, probably in a way, we ourselves that we take the decision, we were the victim. So I don't know. This question is more an open question to reflect over. And so I would like to hand this presentation with a little video that we did at the beginning, like 3 years ago, just to show you a little bit what we do.
Partiamo dalla terra, dalle nostre relazioni e dal nostro corpo. Consapevolezza, cura, autodeterminazione. Gramigna, l'orto delle donne, è un progetto ecofemminista. Siamo un gruppo di volontari che si prende cura di un orto all'interno dell'azienda infestante a Noci, in provincia di Bari. Il raccolto viene distribuito tra le volontarie e altre donne accolte dal centro antiviolenza Andromeda. Studiamo la correlazione tra il dominio sulle risorse naturali e sul corpo delle donne. Vogliamo andare oltre i binarismi e le gerarchie. Il nostro sguardo tiene insieme ecologismo e femminismo.
Ladies, I would like to have this presentation, like if you want to follow us on our page. Thank you.
Thank you, by resource.
Thank you.
I found it interesting list. Maybe you can hear me now. If there are some questions from home, please feel free to talk. Meanwhile, I found it very interesting correlation from the last example you did about the donation of vegetables to women and what River was talking about regarding to simplify problems. Because a second step that maybe we are used to do is that, okay, I gave for free some vegetables and they don't want and they trash, but they are in my country, so they should take my rules. And in this sense, we are reducing the complexity. No, we are simplifying everything. And I really remembered the same sensation after 3 months in Mongolia eating only mutton, and I can swear to you that it's terrible. So every one of us has his own background, cultural, social, behavioral issues, and so on. So to simplify that and saying, yeah, they are in our country, so they should get used to our food is a simplification of the problem. So thanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we also give the food with the idea to doing well, no? I mean, we didn't like probably it was better to give a chicken or like something that they really wanted that is not like an ambientalist and anti-species. But at the end, we had to be impose our way of doing things.
Another question?
Yes, I have a question for the professor. Well, about the acknowledgement of the engagement of communities, areas where, of course, it's more likable to find resources, because as we know, Latin America, Colombia in this example, it's well known the industry of exporting primary resources such as copper, petroleum, and these resources used to be found mostly in rural areas in a way that could disrupt indigenous communities. And so my question is more, how can we evolve or try to engage with these communities without, by avoiding paternalistic approaches, like really getting to involve them in a way that they are not considered third-class citizens compared to, I don't know, a common citizen in Bogota, for example. I'm not sure, but I hope you understand my question. But
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the question. Yeah, this kind of dimension that I said, for example, fear, second tier is only I don't know, it's a way also for simplify a complex way to exclude big population of the society of the democratic arena. Okay, this question. I have the possibility to answer this question, explain before something that I don't have the time to explain. And for this reason, thank you for the question. That is about decolonization is a social movement. I mean, it's not a theoretical framework. I mean, the decolonization framework is a framework for understand social movement. Because before the theoretical tools to understand, before this, there were the social mobilizations in Mexico, in Colombia, in Ecuador, in Peru. So the process to change society is firstly a process of social mobilization. And we have in the region two better examples about how the social mobilization could change the national rules. And these examples are in Peru and in Ecuador. Peru and Ecuador has, let's say, the most progressive national constitutions of the region. I mean, in the national constitutions, there is a recognition of plurinational country, and a recognition of the Pachamama, the territory, the land, as a subject of right, you know? And this is really interesting because it's not the theoretical decolonization that creates the plurinational state. It's the social movement that creates this kind of responses. And what happened when a company, for example, in Canada, let's say about golden industry, what happened with a company in Canada want to get the resources of a country where the national constitution consider their resources as living resources. It's a conflict. I mean, it's a legal conflict, and in this case, a lot of companies prefer to get the resources in another country where the national constitution don't consider resources as living like a human being. You know, in Colombia is the case. I mean, in Colombia the national constitution don't consider resources as like a live subject, right? But in the past, some moments the social movement create like a consultation, like a referendum. You know, this company want to get the resources here because then we go to create social employment. We go to create a value and so on. And these people say, okay, but we want to be consulted before. We have to create a referendum to take a decision. I mean, and in that moment, like 2 or 3 cases, vote not in the 99%. I mean, the 99% consider not a beneficiary the activities of the company in their territory. What happened then? The national, the constitutional court, that is the biggest court of the country, say that this kind of referendums has not legal, how do you say, legal power. And here we have the problem here, you know, because the population is saying we don't want. Thank you. For example, like 3 days ago, I don't know if you see, people in Greenland say Trump, thank you, we don't need your health support. I mean, we have here health support, and it's a public service, and in your country you have to pay for the health. It's better that you go with this boat to your own country. I mean, it's the power to make a struggle with the power and create social movement. So the colonization is not, I mean, this is key, because we could imagine that the colonization is only a process when you prefer to buy ecological goods, or maybe you could make better society, recycling. This is good. I mean, it's really nice. But the process of the colonization is a social movement that involves a political process. So for this question is, we have to build in the structural conditions to negotiate in a equal way, but giving voice to the river, giving voice to the mountains, giving voice to the natural resources. And this is not like a crazy idea. I mean, Ecuador and Peru are very good examples how we can do it. It's not perfect. Yes, it's not perfect, because in that countries we have a lot of problems, but it's like an inspiring direction. Let's see.
Well, now you mentioned the case of Peru. I myself am Peruvian, so I know very close about problematics. As you mentioned, it's a good on paper, but in reality, the application is not as good. Plus, for example, in the case of Canadian companies doing the research and, I don't know, exploring some kind of mineral company try to explore certain areas. The thing about that is that they go do the research, say, we want to invest in here, but because there's a consultation, the population in the area should get rejected or not. That could happen, it's true. But the thing about after that is, okay, if they say no, what happened? It happened many times. Is that then if they go, the company goes like I don't know, actually they say we cannot invest here because we are not have no support of the population. But then comes a third element, which are the artisanal gold miners who actually did like I mean they explode the areas, contaminating the areas, even very aligned with narco trafficking. So it's many social things going on.
Yeah.
So I mean, which could be the way, like we should work with the companies, choose the companies to work with us, or we have to give these exploiters who not contribute in any way to the rural area to work there. So I don't know if it will be that is a social conflict going on in some of my country. I don't know about Ecuador or Colombia specifically, but I'm talking about the things I know so far.
Yeah. I realized that I had a mistake because the examples are not Peru, sorry, it's Ecuador and Bolivia, the plurinational. I go to response regarding the several perspectives of this way of thinking. For example, for one perspective that is engaged, for example, with Zapatistas, Revolution Zapatista in Mexico, they say external companies nothing have to do here, go for your home. And we try to ensure our territory. And this kind of perspective is also like a sharing with indigenous communities that say the kind of activities that these kind of companies do here is only for destroy our society. Okay. Other thinkers say we have to try to connect on the borders what happened in that side and what happened in this side. And obviously this implies a dialogue, but the dialogue needs, again, a structure. I mean, needs places with planifications really well, and try to don't disappear the voice of the weak actors. I mean, this is the path, but we know the problems, So yeah, and depends of the right that you prepare, because this is like a pluri. I mean, it's a really big perspective to thinking and take decisions. So depends of your like a feeling. For example, I at the beginning thinking like Zapatistas, like 10 years before, and now I think in another way, but in the same stream. But depends.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Analyze some aspects of related to moral aspect of studies. Yes, you mentioned we are studying engineering, environmental engineering, but with a special orientation to the global values, the choices we make as professional, and we are trying to transmitting from our scientific community related to the UNESCO chairs, also to students at the 3 levels, bachelor's, master especially, and PhD. And we have decolonized the UNESCO chair because the fourth professor, a young professor, and the just graduated people are the same role. We are family. And it's not rhetorical, it's reality. And the same time, I'm a bit concerned about the wording because decolonizing science means delegitimating science. Pay attention. I'm telling to myself, pay attention. We are a minority. People are convinced that respectful behaviors in international relationships, in relationship among urban context and rural context, for instance, or among different continents, different rings of the supply chains, whatever kind of relations have the risk of or can bring the risk of a colonial partnership and unbalanced relations. For engineering and let's say like humanities, but also the scientific approach is a bit dangerous because we work with models, with scientific models, and sometimes the risk, and we were just discussing with our students in the first lecture of the second semester today about the risk to apply models, imposing models to people is not capable to understand you, but also to apply classified models. The same for whatever latitude, the same for whatever cultural context. And so we have to learn more from this, apparently far from the typical topics we are treating in ESIC, but in reality very close. One word about your experience as Peruvian citizen. I remember the words when I was worked in Peru for several projects, not colonially oriented. But I remember the strong word of President Correa in 2007. 300,000 indigenous people cannot log 27 million of Peruvians. Terrible. But reality. And many times we are speaking about the majority power, forgetting that no one left behind means much more than giving them the satisfactory salary or other. But decolonizing reality is very hard. Think of the situation of workers in Italy. We have a lot of poor workers, and researchers like Esther Duflo has developed, the Nobel Prize winner. So well documented on the situation of poor workers. They have a salary, they have a contract, a job, but they are not capable to reach the end of the month. So colonialism and colonialist approach, in my opinion, even in science, is a high risk. You have to be humble and to apply the scientific method, but at the same time, not imposed. Traditional knowledge, for instance, it's a magic word for indigenous people, but sometimes we relegate the traditional knowledge to Article 8J of the Convention on Biodiversity, Biological Diversity. Okay, we are giving you some satisfaction. But traditional knowledge, as demonstrated by the techniques, the same applied in India, for instance. We have good relationship with some Indian universities studying the traditional knowledge on how to irrigate through traditional knowledge methods. And I'm particularly pleased to see that even in Caribbean areas, the traditional knowledge is capable to deal with the climate change extreme events with millennial knowledge. Final word, if I'm allowed, about Cartagena. It's in my heart because I teach in Cartagena, San Buenaventura University. I remember that the debate at that time, there was 2000, like 2008, 2010, and was about the new model of the development of the urban context. For instance, the beginning of the new massive tourism was in that period, compared with the land restoration and marine ecosystem restoration. I remember the effort of Planeta Sul. There was an association of civil society organization in that area, engaged in the private engagement of restoration. Gramigna in male approach, because in that time, speaking about ecofeminism was out of imagination. But the bottom-up approach in that case was the solution in opposition to the new models coming on in Cartagena. Thank you.
Any other comments or other final statements?
I only wanted to yeah, indeed. For I prefer not refer to names, to authors and so on, because are a lot of people. But the commentary of the professor when saying what happened also in Italy. Italy and Latin America has a really nice connection between two kind of thinkers, Antonio Gramsci and Jose Marti, a Cuban thinker, and also for Jose Maria Mariátegui, that is a Peruvian thinker. And the connection is because in Europe and in Italy especially, there are and there were in that moment colonial relationship between North and South that invites to think that in the center, I mean in Europe, there are also peripheries, and how in Colombia, for example, in the South, there are also centers. I mean, the relationship between center and periphery is not a problem of relationship between Europe and Latin America. It's an struggles in a lot of countries, in a lot of societies, and a first step to try to decolonize is engage with the part or the portion of people that are located in the exclusion or in the periphery to get voice at this kind of people. So it's I mean, I feel really nice be here. Really, and I recognize a lot the effort of Gramigna, for example, because it's the same. It's the same, lucha. It's the same problem and the same way to try to think solutions. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much again to the speakers. And we will try also in the next seminars to put together an experience more related to academia, studies from academia, like from one professor, and a second reality more connected maybe to the territory, so like NGOs, entities and so on, because we strongly think that this approach of connecting more and more universities with local and contextualized issues is very important. So thank you so much, and have a good evening.
Okay. Thank you.
Ti servo solo quello di perdere la registrazione.
Registrazione in corso.
Ma poi faccio solo.